This call is now being recorded.
All right, here we go. This is Brent Porcio here with the special guest today. We got Alex. Am I saying it right? Covel. Alex Covel. Another awesome 90 mile an hour story coming out of the 3X Velocity camp. So I wanted to kind of have you kind of tell everybody about your experience, you know, your success, and what's been going on with you. So, you came to me. You were in college when you came to me? Was it last year?
Yep, I came last summer. I came in the beginning of June, and I stayed for 1 week down there, and then I headed home and continued working on the program myself back in New York.
Well, cool. So, when you came down, why did you come down? So, like, what were you doing? Where were you in your career? Why did you search me out, and how did you find me, and why did you want to come to camp?
I came down. My dad ended up finding you guys online, and I know that's one of your things that I should be searching you guys out, but my dad found you guys online. Yeah, and thought it was a really cool opportunity. I never heard anything like that before. And, I mean, looking at you guys' results in the past, with guys throwing 10 miles an hour harder after going through the program and everything, I was like, absolutely, that's something I'm interested in, and I paid for a good part of going to the camp and everything, so it gave me good inspiration to work hard.
Nice.
And
so you came down. So you came down, and then what was your experience? What was your experience here? What did you get out of it?
I came there. I hit 83. I've thrown about upper 80s before, but I hadn't thrown in a couple months, just giving it time off. And I came down there, and you had me the first day, I think, throwing even the med balls. The med balls was one of the big things for me also. I got the pitching plate pass down there, and the med balls helped me a lot.
Cool.
That part of the program helped me get a lot more out of my legs, and that was one of the things I lacked, was using my legs, my whole body to throw. I think that was why I was
So that was your first experience, was really kind of seeing a different approach, or kind of what did you get out of that camp that was really unique, or felt like something that you hadn't learned before that was, felt like was something that wound up becoming a success for you?
I think one of the biggest successes at the camp that opened my eyes was when we were doing the med balls, and you got me by myself, and you were using me and pulling my hip forward. And I think just with the med balls, I was almost throwing 40 miles an hour with that, and I was only hitting like 28 the first day, and that really showed how much.
Right, I remember that.
How much I had in my legs that I just never used before.
So then you stayed for that week. You stayed for the full week, didn't you?
Yep, I stayed for 1 full week, and then I went home.
How helpful was it that full week of training after the camp?
The full week was probably the most important thing, just because, I mean, I could have done it on my own, but I would have never known exactly the positions and the angles and how much I was lacking until I came down there and you put me in those positions and how weak I felt just throwing. And
awesome.
It showed how much of the weightlifting was. I followed that through 100%. Did everything I needed to do and worked hard at it and got a lot better from the weightlifting as well.
Well, good. So then you went home and then you continued the training for your off season?
Yep, I followed everything exactly. Did it all summer and all fall, and took a little bit off in over winter break. But I still did the lifting. I just wasn't doing as much throwing with the med balls.
Right.
But once I got back
and then
to
you
school,
so then when you went into your preseason, you
preseason,
started to throw more.
The weightlifting. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Started throwing more. Started throwing harder. It's a big thing.
Well, good. So when did you start noticing your velocity was significantly going up?
As my arm got back into shape, I started throwing harder again, but that was also, I was putting the mechanics together at the same time. I was feeling hip separation and keeping my chest back a lot more, and that was one of the big things that I was lacking at the camp. But I think with all the weightlifting and everything, it got me into better positions, and I got more angles out of my body, which was one of the big things, I think.
So cool. So when did you know? When did you? Or what was that first game where you learned how hard you were throwing when you got into your season? You said you were. Tell them how hard you were throwing at that point. I don't want to give it away.
I topped out at 94 after hitting 93 at your camp, or 83. I'm sorry. And I was consistently 92 or 93, and I ended up touching 94. But
so what was it like? What was it like finding out that you were throwing in the low to almost mid 90s?
I mean, the results show themselves. I started striking out a lot more guys with the fastball, but it really opened my eyes when somebody was like, "Yeah, you hit 94." I was like, "Oh my gosh," you know.
Pretty cool feeling, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So when you look back to that, I mean, yeah, that's over a 10-mile-an-hour increase. But you said you had been in the upper 80s before, so you could probably say, at least a good 6-mile-an-hour increase.
Yeah.
What do you truly credit it to? Like, looking back at it now, like, what do you say was really pivotal in the program? Like, get specific,
I would say just working on mechanics a ton, getting myself into triple extension, because I was far short on those angles. My chest was forward a lot. My hips opened as my shoulders starting to open, and also the arm cock. I'm starting to get that up later and later as I work on it more and more. So I would say just getting into triple extension and, getting into those angles, but also the weightlifting. I'm sure the weightlifting played a huge role. You don't see it, but the hard work paid off,
Yeah, so how did what did your power to weight ratio get to? Do you know?
I don't know exactly. I just kept doing it.
What did you get your max? Do you know, did you get to a max on your power clean?
I think power clean, I was in the 200s. I know that.
Okay. And what do you weigh, though?
I weigh 215 now.
Okay,
but
cool.
I was like 175 at the camp, 185 at the camp, somewhere in there. So I put on a lot of weight, so.
Okay. So where were your bigger gains? Was it in your squatting or in your cleaning? Where were your bigger gains?
Yeah, squat I got up to like 270 on the front squat, which is way
That's
higher
good.
than I was. I was like 150, 165 when I got there. So
Okay. What about your
there.
cleans? I mean, did your cleans make a big jump too?
Cleans went up just like the program wanted to. I don't know exactly what I'm at. I just follow the program exactly. I don't even think about it. I just follow it to a dime and and reap the benefits for it.
So you definitely saw the increase in the strength and the speed and the power. You saw an improvement in the biomechanics. And what really helped the improvement in the biomechanics? Were any of the drills really helpful, or was the analysis helpful?
I think the analysis was very helpful. And then as I started throwing more this preseason or whatever, I just started to feel my body more. I could feel that where I was lacking, and I started to keep my chest back more. I started bringing my front elbow. I started thinking about keeping it up so I would keep my chest back more, and I think that was where I really started to throw a lot harder with my chest back.
Yeah, how tall are you again?
I'm only 6'1".
6'1". Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And so, what would you say to any of those guys out there that are kind of in that situation, like you, wanting to gain speed or not really satisfied where their speed is, and they're looking to do something like this? I mean, what would you say to those guys?
I would tell them to work your butt off and to go down to Louisiana and visit Frank, because, that's where I got everything from this year. I went from being a low guy in the depth chart to now I'm our number one closer, and now I'm the starter at my second year in college, so at the Division II level.
Awesome. So you're only a sophomore this year?
Yep, just a sophomore.
Well, that's great, man. I think if you can keep maintaining and keep climbing in the off season through the program, I think, man, you're gonna get an even better opportunity in professional baseball, man. So That's awesome. So keep up the good work, and appreciate you doing it. And like I said, when you get video of you throwing with speeds on it, man, send it to me because I want to put that up too.
I'll absolutely do that.
All right, man. Well, hang on the line. I'm going to end the interview, and I appreciate it, man. Hold on.